Well guys, yes, welcome back up to Belfast, and it's St. Patrick's Day. So we have decided, before maybe enjoying a little pint of the black stuff, to watch the St. Patrick's Day parade. Fun fact, never been here before, never watched the parade before, so we just thought we would come up, see what's going on. Now it's still about 45 minutes for it starting, but Nicola has got a little accompaniment. And what's it called, Nicola?
Flag. I got me flag. Not flag.
Flag.
And on the way here on the bus, we met a lady who's going to be on stilts in the parade.
Yes. And apparently last year she did the parade and she'd only had 3 practice goes beforehand. So yeah.
And she actually attends an OAP circus group. How fantastic is that?
Yeah, stuff your whole knitting and stuff. we want to have a circus group, so we're going to have a bit of a mooch around, take in the ambience, and then the parade starts in about 45 minutes, and then there might be 1 or 2 pints of the black stuff as well.
I don't know. I've had a couple of migraines, so I'm meant to be off the alcohol, but we'll see. Can I keep my willpower, not have a drink? It's now.
Right, let's go have a look around. That was a girl we saw on the bus. It's taken a while, but we actually hear some Irish music coming.
Really random stuff here.
Interesting.
It was fun to see, but I wasn't sure what most of them were.
And I think we only heard 1 bit of Irish music. I think it's more of a celebration of art and just people getting dressed up in all kinds of clobber. So
there was a lot of aging hippies in there, I reckon.
It was indeed. So now the parade carries on going. Lasts about 2 hours. It loops back around and goes into the back into the city hall. But I think we are now going to head out and see whether we can grab some fodder.
Yeah, I think seeing it once was enough. I don't mean it in a bad way, but you don't really need to hang about.
Although, to be honest, maybe what you should have done was joined on the end of the parade and just waved your Irish passport in the air.
Still got my flag.
Flags. Let's go grab some food. Big Ulster fry. Oh. And now the fun begins. Nope, maybe not. The alarm told us not to have fun yet. Eat first, Nigel. Eat first. Be sensible. Happy St. Patrick's Day. That's a good pint. Good pint indeed. Well, that was very tasty indeed. Probably should have checked the price of the Guinness, mind you, but yeah, really nice. Looks to have some music going on outside the Fountain Lane bar. Maybe it's just some guy hammering a...
I think it is just some guy banging on a tray or something.
In these parts that is music. Hang on a minute, let's see. This is all a little bit busy now. Let's go see whether we can find a little bit of Irish tunes, I reckon. Might be a slight problem.
Can't get in anywhere.
We might have to make up our own music in some little non-Irish bar, because Kelly's, for one, is absolutely mobbed. That's an absolute no-go, which probably means the next place we're going to go to is going to be a no-go as well. How does anyone get drunk on St. Patrick's Day in Ireland? We're heading out towards actually the little whiskey place. Remember we went in and had a little private tour over? The Friend at Hand, the couple of bars beside it, but again, as Nicola says, it's not looking promising unless you come to just a random place like this here, which is the Deer's Head. Well, this is where my brother's daughter was having her reception jobby thingy. The Deer's Head, there you go. Fire Brigade are out in force. Just pour some Guinness on it, I reckon. Nicola getting all hot under the collar.
I'd like to say.
Chances are it'll be standing room only outside in a plastic glass. Shall we just go home and have a cup of tea? There we go. Sausages! Oh, we're off. Oh, she's all a bit mobbed in here. Oh, chance of some diddly eye. Oh, very tasty. You've probably heard me speak before about struggling to make a decent cup of coffee in the van. I finally realised that having pre-ground coffee, I'm probably knobbling myself from the beginning. So I've ended up getting myself a little coffee grinder. Let's get to work on grinding. Oh, that's not that kind of channel, folks, don't worry. Soon it goes in there. Yeah, I've never been one to read the instructions, so tablespoon of beans per person. This kerfuddle goes on this way. Ooh, crunchy. Of course, another reason why I wanted to get a grinder was the French press cup that Nicola got me. It has got slightly bigger kind of holes in its little filter bit, and ground coffee was just coming through it, so rather than drinking the coffee I was kind of just eating it. Not very nice. It probably is a setting for different grind kind of sizes, but and of course some of the ones I was looking at were glass bottomed, but they wouldn't last 2 minutes in the van, so this is a plastic one. Oh, it may be that we're coming to the end. I think we are ground. Oh, how good does that smell? Okay, and then we'll whack that in there, and we'll go pour some boiling water into it. And here's one I made earlier. Yeah, so we're obviously still parked on my parents' driveway, so I just went in and got some of their hot water and away we go. So let's see how that works out. Anyway, we're hoping that we're going to be getting you've heard me talking about this before, we keep getting these over voltage issues. We're pretty sure we've narrowed it down to the controller. Now, despite updating a lot of the settings on our existing tracer controller, we're still getting it. Interestingly, we visited Bespoke NI a couple of weeks ago. Just have a chat with the guys and look around their showroom. By the way, they've got some absolute beasts in their showroom now. Stunning guys, stunning designs that they do. But I noticed that Nicola noticed one of their vans was over voltaging as well. Speaking to the guys at Bimble Solar, they're kind of like, well, you know, this whole edge of cloud effect, you might still get over voltage. But what we're going to do is we're actually going to put a Victron smart controller in. I say we, the expert's going to do that. It will mean that we lose this physical display on here, and it'll all be managed by hopefully a smart app on the iPhone. I'm hoping that I can still keep we have a little push button here that gives us the voltage. It's currently sitting at 14.5, but that was supposed to be this morning, and apparently the part that turned up yesterday or 2 days ago wasn't the smart controller. We're hoping that we get a phone call later on this morning that it's arrived and I can head down to Lisburn and get that replaced. And then when we do finally leave Ireland and do other few bits and pieces that we're doing, I also have to revisit the guys down at the gas Propex, because our little gas monitor, it's currently sitting at 5 bars. I am convinced when we use up a little bit more gas, that will drop to 3 pretty quickly, then 1 even quicker, and then it will show red, even though we probably still have a lot of space left in the tank. They're going to take a look at this. I did think that we had an issue with our new water heater, but it looks like that was just some condensation in the pipe that just needed blown through. But given the fact we are going to be away for quite a number of months, just go down and get that sorted. But yeah, first up today, hopefully, the solar controller. If he can't do it today, I'm not quite sure, because we are running low on the number of days that we're going to be here in Ireland. Right, I think it might be time to press the old jobby down. The exciting content we're bringing you today, eh? And then we job done. It's actually quite a good little cup, actually. Oh, I normally have milk with my coffee. Anyway, let's see what this tastes like. The big thing is, am I still going to get coffee granules in this? Ooh. Ooh. That's not too shabby, you know. Sumatra Mandhealing, notes of cocoa berry and savoury spice. Strength 5. You know what? The experts were right. Funny that. Fresh ground coffee trumps pre-ground in a packet coffee. Not too shabby. Right, I've got a bit of work to get on with. Enjoy my coffee, and hopefully later on catch up as we take this bad boy in to get itself sorted. In fact, a day like today, it's quite a sunny day today, but we do have some clouds passing over it. We have had quite a few over voltages already. It's currently at 14.4, which of course is showing me that it's at maximum kind of charge for those AGM batteries, which is what you kind of want. Maybe one up a bit higher, maybe 14.6. But then it seems to just sort of do that little spike up just for a few seconds up above 15, and then you'll get the over voltage, mostly on the water heater, sometimes on the heating element as well, because they are set pre-programmed. Anything over 15 volts, it blows an alarm. And by the way, yeah, St. Patrick's Day was a bit of a bust in the end. We ended up coming home pretty early. I mean, to be honest, it's just another day, really. Lots of drunk people, lots of people with a bit too much skin on show, and it was just impossible. Like everything else, probably if we would have just went to a little village pub, got some Irish music on the go, it would have been fine. But just all of those traditional more touristic pubs were just heaving, and it just wasn't very enjoyable. So we ended up being back home here at the parents for shortly after 6 o'clock. I think it's the earliest I've been home on a St. Patrick's Day in a long time. Too much rambling, off to do some work. A little bit of an update over the last couple of days. It'd be rude not to partake in the best fish and chips in the world, and I will have pistols at dawn with anyone who disagrees. The Bethany, oh my goodness me, and they did not disappoint as well. Absolutely fantastic. The solar install, or not the solar install, the solar controller install. So we took it up, got it installed, and the chap happened to mention that the controller won't start charging unless the voltage of the solar panels is 5 volts higher than the battery. And also it will be clever enough to halt charging if the battery is fully charged. So basically, after he had installed it, he was like, yep, so the battery's fully charged, there's no solar coming in. I was like, that looks a bit weird. But drove on back to Cumber and then monitored it for the rest of the day, and sure enough, all day, nothing. The following day, we had to drive up to Antrim. Nicola had another appointment to fulfill. All good news there. So that rounds off all of those various bits and pieces that we've been getting involved in the last 5 months. But I noticed that the solar, once again, there was nothing coming in on the solar panels. So I started to reach out to some other experts in the field, and everyone said, even if the battery is full, it should still be reading voltage. So I got back in touch with the installer, and he went, bring it back down, which was a pain in the backside because, of course, running out of days with mum and dad. And I had to drive back down to Lisburn, and he jiggled around a few wires. He think there was maybe just one little wire that was shorting things out, and we got it working. So it looks like it's working now. And then earlier on this morning was the very sad leaving mum and dad for the final time. Yeah, tough. Especially dad. Obviously, dad's situation with pretty advanced dementia. He kind of understands that we're going. Hopefully by now he will have kind of forgotten that we're going, maybe even forgotten that we've been there. But still tough because he kind of knows that we're going, and that kind of puts him into a bit of an upset mode. And obviously a few tears with mum as well. This is something, the last 5 months, both Nicola and I have kind of regressed in terms of both our physical and mental health. We know that travel is still certainly something that we not only want to do but need to do, not least from my job perspective. Oh yeah, got another article on the way, which is good. Put some pennies in the old travel fund. But it's tough. Leaving friends and especially family is tough. But yeah. We are now in Port Stewart, and we're in a doctor's surgery. Of course we are. But not me. I don't go near doctors. Nicola's in getting the final consult to see whether she needs a hydrocortisone injection in her tennis elbow, which I don't think she'll have. By doing the exercise to try to alleviate the tennis elbow, she's now completely banjoed her shoulder. Kind of an over-pronunciation on her shoulder cuff. Ow. Actually, one last thing. We've just been to the storage unit as well. And obviously, given the problem that we had with the back doors, with the bike rack oil and the cracks that kept appearing after the accident, we have obviously removed the bike rack now, and we have just somehow managed to fit the bike rack into the storage unit. Goodbye, bike rack. Not quite sure where it's going to go, mind you.
Yeah, good luck with that. If it's a treat.
Run. I just don't hope that guy opens it up to try to do a humidity test, because yeah, you're not getting in there, mate. Right, waiting Nicola to come out, maybe I'll inject it up, and then yeah, we'll get on with our weekend here in Portrush. Well guys, that is our time in Ireland done and dusted.
You probably know this, but I really find it hard adjusting to each phase of our life. So I want to travel, but when I get back and get settled and see everyone, I realise how much I miss them and how much I miss home. So then I don't want to leave. But then when I'm travelling, I don't want to come back. So I've always got these roller coaster of emotions, which does Nigel's head in.
Yes, just a little bit. But then we got the ferry over to Scotland, actually slept again in the little Carnryan car park. And then rather than coming straight down the M6 back to Cambridgeshire, we ended up going into Settle in Yorkshire, met up with friends Tony and Carol for a coffee, and stayed in this little community car park, little community swim pool, and we stayed there overnight. Really nice. Just
donation based, and you can use the toilets between 6 in the morning and 10 at night during the week, which is brilliant.
Really good.
That's at the swim pool that's there.
And then we have just come back from a couple of days spending with our friends over in Mildenhall, and actually yesterday when we went and explored the rather beautiful village of Bury, but that will be a little clip in next week's video.
And in next week's video, I will also reveal how I'm going to have to change my lifestyle because something started developing.
Oh yes.
Now, it's nothing really bad. Well, depends how you look at it. It isn't nothing life-threatening or anything, but it is something that I'm not particularly impressed about, but we'll keep you hanging for that one.
Will we? Will we? Anyway, guys.
It's not that exciting, by the way.
So we have now just arrived at Nicola's mum's. We've come here a little bit earlier. In fact, we were due to be on the Isle of Mull these last couple of days, but the weather was absolutely shocking, and so we didn't get to go to Mull. Again, Mull was cancelled, so we've arrived in Cambridge a few days early. Guess we get this. Nicola gets to spend a little bit more time with her mum.
Yeah.
And then it's perhaps time to start thinking about packing the van up and getting going back into Europe again. But as always, that, along with Nicola's cliffhanger,
it's not a cliffhanger,
will be a story for next time.
You're going to be so disappointed.
And in fact, I know we
should see if people can guess what it is. You'll never guess.
Guess away all you want, guys. It's not that exciting. But actually, even though we've been promising this for the last couple of weeks, we are going to do a Q&A next week. So last chance to get a couple of questions in. We've already got about 8 or 9 questions.
And it can't be what's the thing that's got to change.
Right, guys. Well, once again, thanks a lot for following along. And until next week with our little Q&A stroke cliffhanger. Spoiler, not really a cliffhanger. Take care. Bye-bye.